Hey, Lube Man.
Slip. That's me. Lube Man, slipping into the sewers, never to be seen again.
Never to ever be seen again.
Welcome to the review, a show where two small town dudes give your big dumb opinions. I am to the max extreme.
I'm Dr. Manhattan.
Are you seeing me right now or 20 years ago?
I'm in the past. Okay.
Very good. Today we're going over HBO's Watchmen.
Hey!
Taking the world by storm. The finale just was last week.
Yeah. It was 8 days ago.
That's right. If you're listening to this at any point in time, it was 8 days ago. The first episode of this dropped October 20th. Came out weekly format on the premium home box office network channel.
It's not TV.
That's right. It's got some high scores up there, JT.
Yeah.
I don't have any budgetary information for you here since it is a television program.
Yeah. It looks good for the budget that it has, though.
That's right. And it also, it doesn't have, Hollywood quality costuming in it.
Yeah.
Because this is a world where people make their own costumes and go out in them.
Yeah.
So I like the shoddiness of it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm getting too far into details right now. Let me just tell you.
We're only talking facts before we talk opinions.
True. Here we go.
Come on.
Facts. Rotten Tomatoes has this bad boy at 96%.
Boy.
IMDb 7.8 out of 10. Metacritic 85%.
High across the board.
That's right. It's up there, bub.
Bub.
It is up there, bub.
Bub.
JT, if you don't mind, I'll take the reins on kind of summing up what this HBO show is about.
Let us know.
HBO's Watchmen takes place 30 years after the initial comic book storyline in 1986. Mm-hmm. It does follow the book. This isn't a sequel to the movie.
Yeah.
And it does rein in on current political ongoings.
Yeah. It takes place in the present time, but it's still in the world that was set up in the book.
Yes. What I'm trying to say is that the book had political issues when it was made in 1986.
Yeah.
And it also mirrors that for today's issues, but still follows the world set up by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons from then.
Yeah.
30 years past.
Yes.
With that, it takes place in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Tulsa.
Oklahoma. Okay, I'm going to be specific. Starting out with quite a jarring first episode in 1921.
Yeah.
Bringing the race riots to life.
Which is an actual event. I didn't even know this happened.
I didn't know it happened either.
Fucked.
This was the first I saw of it, and after the first episode came out, there's a ton of articles saying yeah, this has just recently actually come out because American history tried to bury this. It never happened.
Yeah. I was even being well, it definitely, they didn't have airplanes dropping bombs, because they show airplanes dropping bombs in this. No, farmers got
crop
sticks.
dusters.
Yeah, got sticks of dynamite and got crop dusters, and then bombed fucking buildings in Tulsa.
Yeah,
it's holy fuck.
All because, I guess, of a accidental altercation.
No, yeah. What I heard was that it was someone tried, some Klan members tried to hang somebody, and then some black people actually fought back and fought him away, and then the Klan got forces together and was we ain't gonna let them fucking treat us like that, and then they legit burned down what was known as Black Wall Street, which is in Tulsa, where it was known that there was a lot of successful black businesses in, and they burned them all to the ground.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
And then they tried to bury it because
Yeah.
the Klan pretty much ran Tulsa.
Yeah.
And they just like made it so like it never happened. Because this is only coming to light in like the last 10 years, maybe?
Fuck.
Like it's always been like a rumor of that going on, but like it's now out in the open now.
And it's so...
Especially now that Watchmen has put it out in the open.
It's so fucked.
Yeah, it is. So it starts there on a happy note, and then follows like a series of interlock characters from that moment on.
Yeah.
And includes characters from classic Watchmen.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, stars new characters.
Of course.
The political climate is different, and things have changed in the world, at least here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, from where it was in 1986.
Yeah.
But here we are. We've got Watchmen.
Yeah.
HBO.
Who watches them?
Who knows?
We watched it.
Oh, we did. All 9 episodes of it. I pretty much watched all of this in what would be a day.
Jesus.
I watched most of it in one day, finished the rest of it like in a couple hours, and then I had to wait just for the last episode. Yep. So that's my life. That's what I do.
There you go.
So when this came out, this is cable's most watched debut of 2019.
Nice.
With The Watchmen. It garnered about 1.5 million views per week.
Ooh, that's good.
Across all of HBO's streaming platforms and its actual live channel. It does quite a few things playing with the location of here that I really enjoy. So it takes place in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does it include the musical Oklahoma in it quite a bit throughout.
Yeah.
But it also uses like lyrics of the song and stuff to like tie that into like webs a story with like some of the titles of the episodes are from lyrics of Oklahoma songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think not every single one, but like one or two.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you're pretty much tied to a bunch of musicals because your mom's a big musical nut.
And so like even just some of the songs where it's just like it's a great place to live and all this kind of stuff. It's like the great open outdoor plain that now nobody lives and now we're taking it for our own or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like that's just a funny juxtaposition that it's like a shithole. It's not a shithole, but it's like all this stuff is happening like beneath the like right beneath the surface.
Yeah. No, I love the idea that it's like it juxtaposes kind of our culture in the sense that like this is a more liberal leaning time in this reality, but yet tensions are just as high as they are now.
Yeah.
Or it feels like now our government's more right leaning, but everyone is so opposed to it that it's like this like bottle keg like ready to explode.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the exact opposite here, where it's just a matter of like voices feeling that they're not being heard and like fighting back more and more, where it feels like something's bubbling up on the surface.
Yeah. So in the Watchmen book, Richard Nixon is the president like forever, right?
Yeah.
Until in the show continuity where he gets replaced by Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And has been serving multiple consecutive terms.
Yeah.
And Robert Redford being more of a liberal president has gotten things into effect such as like police can't have guns on them. They have to call to use a gun if they need to, which it echoes like what's kind of going on today with like police brutality and all that kind of stuff.
And he set up reparations for colored people.
Right.
Like they call them Redfordations.
Right.
Where like especially for the people that were harmed in the Tulsa riots, he definitely set up a lot of money for them so that they could build themselves back up.
Right. That's pointed out by a shithole kid.
Yeah.
In like one of the first episodes. What this show also really does very well, and like I'm only saying this now that I've seen all of it.
Yeah.
It's very well thought out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with everything that they put in forward. Like, everything is very deliberate.
Yeah.
Every detail they put in here. And so, being that it's like a Lindelof thing, like, the first few episodes of this, it's kind of, like, he's kind of throwing stuff out there, here and there, and you're like, what are you doing? Where is this going?
Yeah.
Because if I can just get into what I thought of the first few episodes really quick.
Yeah.
I wasn't completely on board with the show.
Yeah, and you've said that in the past.
Maybe even like the first 4. I can't remember what happened in the first 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I was like, so far, like, the show's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not like a terribly fun watch.
Yeah.
All the time. And to me, it just doesn't feel like, I don't have any of that Watchmen feel yet.
Yeah.
I guess.
See, and like, I remember when you said that, and like, I was trying to think back to how I felt when I read the book. And I feel like the first couple issues when I read the book felt like that. Like, especially when they start focusing on the comedian's murder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that first issue there, like, I felt like I didn't really know what they were doing, or like, I was like, is this going to be like a murder mystery? But then they like jump around to like all these different characters. Yeah. Like, oh, like, is it, how is this going to play a factor? Or is this going to be like more political? Like, I didn't really get a handle on like what they were going to do exactly until they got to like the comedian's funeral and they start laying out like his life, was when I started getting more into it.
Yeah. And like, stepping back and looking at them both together, like side by side, the show pretty much mirrors what the book does.
Yeah.
Like, they set out this, like, a murder pretty much right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Not like at the very beginning of like the show.
Yeah.
But there is one.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, now we kind of need to investigate this, and there's an investigation going on.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chapter in the book called Fearful Cemetery.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of an episode in the show.
Yeah.
The Looking Glass episode.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty, like, a pretty on the nose comparison. I don't think it's any secret that Dr. Manhattan's in the show.
Yeah.
It's only when he shows up where I felt like, okay, now it's like I'm getting Watchmen vibes from it. Because, like, before then, you're like, yeah, he's existing, right? But he's off doing whatever. And he's not, like, partaking in anything going on in what's happening on Earth.
Yeah.
And being that the cops are now working with masked people,
yeah,
I'm just like, it just feels like a departure of what was going on in Watchmen, where it was the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how did we get here? I guess what I was looking, and I wasn't getting those clear connections as of yet.
Yeah.
I think by 4 you are there.
Yeah.
But I was still feeling like it doesn't feel like this is a continuation of the book. But I did get there by the end of the series, or the season.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can see how it did get here.
Yeah.
It's just like you have 30 years of history that you don't get yet.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, it's, that definitely feels like you've definitely missed some stuff between years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do, as it goes on, they do find good ways to fill in the holes. But yeah, you have to get through the whole series to get those holes filled in.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because they're throwing like a whole like Ozymandias story at you where you're like, I don't, like, the first time they introduced him, I was like, where the fuck are we?
Right. Yeah. I really enjoyed his stuff, though.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to see more of him at all point in time.
Yeah.
And, like, I was kind of, like, disappointed every time it would jump back to Earth. And I'm like, I just want to see more. What's going on there? That's way more interesting right now to me than what's going on
Jeremy Irons
here.
is a really fucking good Ozymandias.
I think he's a great older Ozymandias for sure.
Yeah. He's so perfect.
I love it at a point where they put on the comic accurate costume.
Yeah.
And he's just pretty much in that for the rest of the series.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, I think for me I'm kind of on the same boat with you but for me I really got into it being like, oh yeah, this is definitely a Watchmen story when they do the Silk Spectre episode.
Okay.
With Lori. Because like that whole thing is set up like it almost kind of reminded me a lot of like the issue that got me into the Watchmen book, like the comedian one, where it's like it's her like telling a joke to like Dr. Manhattan through like this phone, and then you like kind of like see they don't give you like her entire story, but they like give you like moments that of while she's here where you're really getting set up for like who she is now.
Yeah.
Like especially understanding who she was in the book, where now she's like in the book she was so much like her mom, and now like life has turned her into her dad.
Yeah. 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 For sure. And not even like I wouldn't say it's hard. I was going to say even like maybe a gruffer version, but she's not even like as lighthearted at all.
No.
Because like the comedian is just like, yeah, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like this, just fucking laugh at it because it's all horseshit. And she's not even, I don't even know if she's like that so much as like she's just like doesn't care.
Yeah.
So much. Like it doesn't hit her.
Like I think it's more like she has the mindset of her dad, but I think she's more pissed about it because she's like, fuck, my dad was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she spends almost the whole book hating him.
Right.
And then she doesn't really find out that he's her dad until the end. But like I feel like she probably spent a good portion of her life trying to like prove him wrong, and now she's at a point in her life where it's like, motherfucker was right all along.
Right. And to the point where she's already dealt with like bullshit superheroes.
Yeah.
Like her whole life.
Yep.
And now she's like,
yeah,
you know what? I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
And so she's just like on her own path, right? Just cutting down masks left and right.
Yeah.
That's
God, I know. I loved like the whole arc of her, like just going into this, and then like her still being her like going like her only connection is to Dr. Manhattan, who she doesn't even know if she's really like talking to him. It's just like a form of therapy to just like go to this phone and like quote unquote call him.
Right. I'm trying to look up what's going on in each episode here. So episode 4, you get the trillionaire Lady True.
Yeah.
Finally enters. So like I also wasn't quite sure the first couple episodes of like what are we fighting towards yet.
Yeah.
And that was I having like I mean I guess Watchmen, you have that initial like murder mystery to like get behind.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, like in the first episode, there is the murder, and you're kind of like, oh well, how did this happen? I mean, you kind of get to see the culprit right there.
Yeah, I know they tell you what happened, but it's just like, oh well, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
and then as it goes on, it's like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, yeah. And then as it goes on even further, you're like, happened to himself? Like,
yeah.
So it's weird. Like, and also I felt like, when do you want to do spoilers for this?
I mean, I guess we can go on with spoilers from now, I guess. I mean, it's if you haven't watched it yet, go ahead and tune out. But yeah, I'd say definitely check it out.
Yeah, because there's a few things I want to talk more openly about.
Yeah,
that I don't want to tiptoe around the whole time.
We'll just spoil it because it's my whole thing is like if it's in theaters, do like a non-spoiler thing. But if it's available to the public and they can watch it in some way,
right?
I mean, it's on them.
Really, and it's been out. The multiple episodes been out for a month now.
Yeah.
So
we're literally talking about it 8 days after the last episode. So
here we are.
Go fuck yourself.
So it wasn't ever like a big deal to me that like the old man in the wheelchair was Hooded Justice.
Yeah. See, I loved it.
Well, no, I guess I didn't mean it that way. I meant like it wasn't like a big mystery to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, who is it? Who is it? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he's wearing red and purple and has a hood.
Yeah.
Like, it's Hooded Justice.
Yeah.
Like, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess not even remembering, like, in the book, I guess he's portrayed as a white guy. But I didn't even think about it. Because, you know, he's always covered. So it could be anybody under there.
Yeah. And they even explain that in this show, too.
Right.
Which I love that because you think of so many... Like, the whole thing is, like, set up where, like, people wear black over their eyes when they wear the mask, and then now we have someone that does the exact opposite.
Right.
Where it's a black person wearing white over their eyes to, like, make them look like a white person.
Right.
Because it's less scary.
Right. Which is fucked up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But it's so good. It's between that Hooded Justice episode and, like, the Dr. Manhattan one and the Looking Glass one are probably, like, my favorites.
From the Looking Glass episode on, I was way on board.
Yeah.
I really liked the Looking Glass episode.
Yeah.
And then after that is, like, the Hooded Justice episode. Mm-hmm. Then Dr. Manhattan. And then it's, like, the finale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those 4 in a row are bangers.
So fucking good. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But until then, I'm not saying like the show like meandered or anything because it had a purpose.
Yeah.
But so the guy killed and hung from a tree, I guess hanged from a tree if you want to be grammatically correct.
Yeah.
Is Judd.
Yeah.
Also, to make reference back to Oklahoma, the bad guy in Oklahoma's name is Judd.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like they're not even really trying to hide it very well.
Yeah.
Even though they do for multiple episodes because he's back in later episodes as like flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But so he is like eventually outed as a white supremacist.
Yeah.
But he's like even in his truck when he goes to go visit the distress call or whatever. Or yeah, I don't remember where he's going or he gets pulled over by the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah. Well, the guy in the wheelchair puts on spike strips.
Well, I knew that, but then on the way there, he's listening to like right wing like radio and stuff, which I didn't pick up at first.
Yeah.
Like something was pointed out to me when there's like, well, you shouldn't really have seen that he was a good guy because there's all these like clues. I'm like, well, I'm a dummy and I don't look at that stuff.
Well, yeah, and like I watched like a thing the other day where like I love watching like videos where people point out like small like Easter eggs and shit in like these shows because like, dude, I tell you, go on YouTube and like look up like
the best one
videos for this shit because like there are so many fucking Easter eggs in the backdrop of all these fucking shows.
The best one is from Screen Crush.
Yeah, yep, that's the one I watch.
They do one for every single episode, and they have like 80 per episode.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to go through and write some of these down because I thought they would be interesting, but like it's too much.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
But yeah, I watched almost all of those. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't catch that. And those were the kind of things like, granted, some of them are like kind of retconned later on because they make assumptions of what's coming up later.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to like talk about that or whatever. But
no, like they point out like he does small things like even like when he's around Angela that like shows that like he's kind of a racist. Like so like in the first episode they all go to the like that all black cast version of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And then they get back and then they're like having dinner and they're all talking about it and shit and then like his wife's like, I mean, that was pretty good. And he's like, yeah, it was pretty good considering who was starring. Where it was like, oh shit. I mean, like it was like he like says it like in a way where it's like, yeah, they were pretty good, like given who they were.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit, yeah, maybe that should be kind of a.
I don't think I even realized that he said it like that.
Yeah, but it's like small things like that where it's just like a throwaway conversation, but he just kind of throws in like his little 2 cents here, where it's like maybe it's even something that he didn't catch that he was saying, that it's just it brings out like his true ideas of like people.
So anyway, and I think He's great in this too. Why am I spacing out on his name?
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson.
So fucking good in this.
He is great. So, like, the last few things that he's been in, he's just, like, ends up being the villain.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah. But he's even really good in Knives Out, too.
No, I haven't seen Knives Out yet.
Yeah, it's just, he always seems to, like, get the role where it's, like, it's so good, but it's not really, like, substantial. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's what he wants it to be. I don't know. But, like, every role that they usually give him, he's so fucking good.
Yeah. But I liked how they tried to, like, hide his, I guess, evilness, even though he's, like, wearing, like, the, like, Lone Ranger white cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You know, like, even though I guess that should be a tip-off that it's a white hat.
Yeah. And it's, like, kind of like the same hat that, like, the sheriff wears, like, the evil sheriff wears when they're, in, like, 1923 when he's watching that movie.
Oh yeah,
like it's supposed to be kind of like a recreation of like the hat of like the sheriff that gets tied up by what's his name?
I can't the movie that Hooded Justice kid watches. I can't remember what the movie's name is.
Yeah, it's like something Reeves because he takes the name of Reeves after that.
I can't remember. I guess we could look it up, but why do that? So yeah, anyway, Don Johnson's great in this. I thought the person who played like the main character in this, Angela Abar, was really great.
Oh, dude, so fucking good.
Yeah. I would say there's not even like one weak performance in this. I thought the weirdest one, I guess, was Miss True.
Yeah.
Because she just comes off as way eccentric, and I didn't really know what she all was about.
Yeah.
Up until...
But then you kind of get the idea of why she is the way she is when you find out she's, like, the daughter of...
Oh, yeah, of, like, Ozymandias.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, now it makes a lot of sense why you are the way you are.
Yeah. There... So, let me ask you this. Would you consider this a fun watch? Because there's a few people on Twitter that asked myself and Dave.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't yet jumped the gun to watch this yet.
Yeah.
Because they're, like, on the fence. They're, like, kind of Watchmen'd out. Would you consider this a fun watch?
They tackle, like, some pretty heavy subjects, but I had a lot of fun with it. Like, if you're into Watchmen, like, if you understand Watchmen, you'll get more out of it. But I've even heard of people that, like, weren't, like, they know the book exists, but they never really read it, and they still got into it.
Yeah, I could see that. I would say the show is good, yes. Yeah. Fun, I don't know. Like, it's not like sitting down and watching The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You got, like, a 30-minute episode, they're just going on, like, a one-off adventure. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it's done, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
It's like a heavy hour.
Yeah.
Of, like, sometimes pretty heavy subject material.
Yeah.
Like, even Chelsea responded to that same thing. It's like, well, when the series opens up with a large ethnic cleansing, I wouldn't also say that's very fun. But the show is good.
Yeah. And I think maybe it's just a matter of, like, what you consider fun, too. Like, I'm not saying, like... Like, for me, like, when I watch, like, especially when I watch stuff, I have a lot of fun when it, like, challenges me to look at something in a completely different light. Yeah. And I think this show does a really good job of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's heavy subject material, but it gave me something that I could, like, think about, like, the rest of the day, the next day.
Yeah.
And I have more fun with that than, like, something where it's, like, something you're in the moment and it's done. Like, you're gonna think about it here and there, but that was fun, and that's it. But with, like, this, like, it gave you, like, ideas on, like, race and, like, society and even how time works, where it made me, like, think about shit where it was like, what if that was a thing?
Yep.
Like, the way they tackled time in this during that Dr. Manhattan episode was, like, the most interesting shit.
Yep. I completely agree. I love it anytime Doc Manhattan isn't like that's my favorite issues of Watchmen, the Dr. Manhattan stuff.
Yeah.
It's my favorite stuff because I just went back and revisited before Watchmen, like the sequel series.
Yeah.
And they do cool stuff with him in that.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, like, the rest of the books are kind of like, yeah, they're just like another fun adventure, but they, like, do, like, a fun thing with him in it where they almost make, like, his life a Schrodinger's cat situation.
Yeah.
Where he, like, throws his consciousness back in time, not just living in all time, but, like, he deliberately throws his consciousness back to right before he becomes Dr. Manhattan, and then chooses not to in one lifetime. So, like, he'll live out one life as John Osterman and another life as he went into Dr. Manhattan.
Shit.
And tried to see, like, which one... but none of them exist at that point in time, so it's like Schrodinger's cat, right? So, like, both exist at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're doing that heavy, weird playing with time concept on, like, what would be different in each timeline, even though each one could exist at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's, like, pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, man.
So when they got to, like... I was waiting for... I'm glad they held off on doing it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see him way sooner.
Yeah. And I loved the way they frame it, too, where it's just, like... You end on, like, a pretty big cliffhanger involving Dr. Manhattan in the episode before his.
Yeah.
And then the whole episode after that is, like, it's just, like, the big cliffhanger you were waiting on is just another moment that he kind of, like, flashes to when he's going through all these moments at once.
Yep.
Where it's, like, I'm both meeting Angela, living out our entire relationship, and also going through this big moment where this giant shootout's happening all at the same time.
Right.
And I'm just kind of, like, floating through all of this.
Yeah.
Where you're waiting for, like, this big cliffhanger, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, I gotta meet Angela first." And then I gotta kind of live our entire relationship.
Yep.
Maybe I'll give you a few things here and there, but I mean, you know, it's just however whatever I'm living at this moment.
Right. It's so good. He's such a great character.
Yeah.
Because he can do some fucked up shit with him, right?
Yeah. And I love, like, his whole, like, chicken and the egg type thing where, like, even though it still doesn't make complete sense to me, like, I feel like Damon Lindelof does, like, I think even a better job of explaining how Dr. Manhattan sees time than I think the book did. Where they do that whole thing where, like, when, like, Angela, like, tells Dr. Manhattan to ask her grandfather, like, how does she know who Judd is and how did she know he was part of Cyclops? And then he does that and he was like, who's Judd? And then it's like, oh shit. But then he was the one that told her that Judd was a part of Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, where it was like, it was always meant to be. It was just that it was like this circle of things that, like, made the events happen that were always supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. I also want to talk about other supporting cast stuff. I really love Looking Glass in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's, of all of the, I guess, supplementary characters, he's another well-rounded one.
Yeah, they don't really do much with, like, Red Scare and the pirate chick.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there.
Right.
But, yeah, Looking Glass is, like... Yeah, he's really fucking interesting. Especially, like, his flashback is, like, takes place right before the big squid drop.
Right. Which, it's another thing. Like, I loved seeing the squid.
Yeah!
Like, it's like...
I know, I never
expected...
I never expected to see it.
Uh-huh.
But they were like, yep, here's the big squid.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. And that happens in this episode, too. Like, his premiere episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Looking Glass one. I loved that it went right before then, and he was a completely different person, and because of his happening during, like, the psychic squid attack, like, it's changed his whole life from there on.
I just love how Watchmen will do, like, awesome shit with, like, foreshadowing, like, especially with, like, Looking Glass, where, like, you just kind of think, like, oh, he wears that because, like, he wants to be, like, he wants to, like, reflect on people.
Right.
Like, because his whole thing is that, like, he can tell when people are lying. So it's like, oh, so, like, his whole thing is, like, he reflects back at you. Like, he tells you whether you're lying or not. But then you find out, oh, no, he doesn't wear that because he wants to show you you're lying. He wears that because he's fucking terrified of mirrors. Like, you wear your pain. Like how,
right.
like, Lori says in that. And then even, like, with Angela, where it's, like, she's Sister Night, and I always thought that was, like, the weirdest costume. Mm-hmm. Then you think about it where it's, like, nuns always talk about how they're married to God, and she's fucking married to a god.
Oh, that's true.
Where it's like shit like that, or it was like, God damn, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. I didn't put that together. The one thing that I am hung up on is Lube Man.
Yeah, Lube Man never came back.
Never came back.
I guess there's like supplementary stuff you can look up called the Peteypedia.
Yeah.
Which is the guy that Angela takes with her from the FBI, or no, that Lori takes with her from the FBI.
Yep.
Who's like super obsessed with superhero stuff. That like it's like some supplementary stuff that you can read from that like I don't know, it's supposed to like be like foreshadowing or just like subject material that like they kind of scratch the surface of in the show, but they go more in depth in this.
It's like if you're reading the book and it's like the back matter of each issue.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kind of like documents that he would put out, like that's similar to the show that we just watched.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess in that they do point out that PD guy was Lube Man.
I saw that too. But is it like definitive?
Yeah.
Or
like,
is it
it's
just
pretty
heavily rumored?
I didn't read it, but I guess they said like in the last issue of the Peteypedia thing, like he pretty much comes out and says, "Yeah, I'm Lube Man."
Okay, and that's pretty cool too. That like he was lubing up and following Angela around after they like landed wherever they were to try to.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what they were doing because as soon as Lube Man shows up, I've just seen that GIF so many times. As OJ spams my fucking Twitter with Lube Man.
Yeah, because he stole something from Angela and then ran away. But what was it? I couldn't even remember what it was.
I can't remember.
I need to go back and I'm gonna go back and rewatch the whole series.
Is it something that he stole, or she saw him and started chasing him?
No, she had something and then he took it from her, and then she chased him, and then he slid into the sewer. But I can't remember what she had that he took from her.
I don't remember. It's a mystery. Lube Man, what a mystery.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and rewatch the whole series, but yeah, Lube Man. Great. That was a thing.
Perfect.
Love
he should
Lube
be
Man.
Time Person of the Year. Lube Man.
Lube Man. I just love that the gift that he always sends just ends with Angela being like, "The fuck?"
Oh my god. So yeah, anyway, Looking Glass is great.
Yeah, like his whole pod thing was so cool, where it's like you can almost kind of like tell like what he's doing in terms of his interrogation, where it's like he'll ask a random question and then a random picture will pop up, where like depending on like what you say is kind of like how he determines like who you are.
Yep.
Which makes sense because it's like what you think when you see an image and what you think when someone asks you a question are two different things. So like the way you interact with like the pictures and how he asks could like it throws you off because you don't know what he's examining your face for at that moment. Like whether it's the question he asks or the picture that's up behind him.
Right. I also am a huge fan of that. I mean Ozymandias, but like, so he ends up being on Europa, right? You find that out later on, and he's still like tricking the public with the squid rain, just to keep them scared. You know what I mean? So he can hold his illusion for this last 30 years. But I also like too that he's up there, like in this castle, and he has this like quote Adam and Eve there, right? Who are just like created by Dr. Manhattan, and he's found out a way to like clone these people
Yeah.
Through like Victorian era,
Yeah.
like machinery. Like he's so like smart.
Yeah.
That he's like, I'll just figure out how to build this, and it's all like this ornate Victorian era chambers and cranks, and like in order to like break out of there, he makes like a catapult, and like a makeshift spacesuit and all this kind of stuff. I love that.
And he still has to like make like the spacesuit look like fucking like old ancient Egyptian bullshit too. Like it can't just be like a like a practical spacesuit. He still has to put like fucking ornate like old style fucking decoration on it 'cause he's so full up his ass about that shit. Right.
It's got like a like an Alexander the Great like headpiece and like the Eye of Horus on it.
Like, fuck you. He's so fucking pompous.
I love it though. I loved all that shit.
Yeah.
And when the first episode where he's like, I want to write a play about the watchmaker.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously going to be about fucking Dr. Manhattan, and then like in a couple episodes later you get to see the play, and then that's the episode you realize he's dealing with clones, I think. And he just like burns one in that chamber, and I'm like, oh damn.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
and then I realized he's just been doing all that shit for however long.
Yeah, like he just kills him willy-nilly and shit.
Yeah,
I love all that stuff. And like the horseshoe.
Yeah. So like, but okay, I have a question about the horseshoe.
Yeah.
So why would the butler and maid keep pushing that horseshoe?
Okay, so I got this from like one of those Screen Crush things, and I love the whole idea of it. Okay. So when Dr. Manhattan made his Adam and Eve, he made them with his idea of how he perceives time.
Okay.
So they would always give him a horseshoe because they knew sooner or later he would need a horseshoe. Uh-huh. Because that's how they saw it. And then in that same sense, when he gets put in jail, that's when he thinks, man, I could really use that horseshoe they keep giving me. Yeah. And then that's when they finally give it to him. So it's the whole chicken and the egg thing again. Okay. Where it's like they keep giving him a horseshoe because they know they know that he wants it, but he doesn't know why they keep giving it to him until he gets put in a situation where he's like, man, I could really use that horseshoe right now. Okay. And that's when they give it to him.
Okay. Because I thought maybe I need to rewatch it too. But when he got it the first time, he's like, no, now's not the time. Yeah. But I'm like, how would he know? Unless he's already interrogated like the group on like, why are you giving me a horseshoe? Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me neither. Have no idea.
No. But that's kind of what I gathered from it. Where it's to that point where like at some point he's going to need it and they know that he needs it. But they just keep giving it to him because they're like, "Oh, so you need it?" Like, no, not yet. But it's such a dumb. Like, it could have been something more useful, but it's because like
a shovel.
Yeah, but it's because it's one of those things where like you don't know how it occurred. You just know that it occurred. Where like they just give him a horseshoe and he's like, "I don't need the horseshoe." Right. And then when he gets put into a point where it's like, man, they kept giving me that horseshoe. I could really use that horseshoe they keep giving me. And that's when he gets the horseshoe.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And then, so what did you think of Lady True in this?
I liked her in especially at the end. Like, I couldn't get too much into her throughout the series, but the role she plays at the end, I liked her for what she did throughout.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same page with that. Like I didn't find her like a worthy replacement to like Ozymandias. Yeah. And she's kind of filling in that role as like world's smartest person kind of deal. I'm like, yeah, like you always knew you can feel like there's something looming. Mm-hmm. I guess, and you got that with Ozymandias in the book. Yeah. But it didn't feel like the same. She's not like trying to be a colorful, I don't know. I would say she's not trying to be a colorful person, but the first time you actually do meet her, she like does something pretty outlandish.
Yeah.
Of like giving somebody a baby and like going to throw it away if they don't give her the farm.
Which that was definitely Ozymandias. That had to be. That landed in their farm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had to think of what you were talking about at first, but yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't she have a statue of him? Or was that
the statue was him?
I know, but didn't she have that before that thing crashed? No. Was that?
No, yeah, because the first time you go inside that place is after that.
Okay. All right. Okay. What was I gonna say? Anyway, I was kind of just on that same track of mind. Like, I didn't know what quite to think of her at first, and she wasn't just like a colorful character you can really get behind. She's just kind of weird and out there and kind of off-putting a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when the reveal is like, oh yeah, she's actually like a daughter of Ozymandias through an odd insemination.
Yeah. Like a lot of, when they reveal that, like I feel like a lot of like what she does makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they set her up as like, she's kind of like the very opposite end of like of Cyclops and like these Rorschach guys, where I really liked how the whole end played out just based on that back and forth.
Yeah.
Like I think it really sets up like kind of like what our country's at now, where it's these two sides that want the same thing, but they're both not right.
Right. That leads me to say like the group of Rorschachs, the 7th Cavalry.
Yeah.
Is like the white supremacist group in this, where they take Rorschach's diary and pretty much use it as gospel.
Yeah, and they manipulate it to be like, oh, he meant black people when he said this. It's like, oh no.
Rorschach is a crazy asshole who only sees things in right and wrong, no shades of gray.
Yeah, but they saw right and wrong as black and white.
Yep.
Because they even have like a part in there where they quote a passage of his manifesto, but they like strategically place like words in there where they make it way more race related than it is like right and wrong related.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh shit, like it really makes you think. Like,
yeah,
like you can literally take anything that someone writes out and like just make it and bend it to your own whims.
Yep, for sure.
And it's scary.
Yeah. I also liked how well I'm saying liked as like I didn't really like it so much, but so Dr. Manhattan's like the most powerful person in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And how like just a group of people, like almost like two groups of people, can just easily just defeat him.
Yeah.
To me that's like the one thing I like about Dr. Manhattan that kind of falls apart is like, so he knows he's going to be defeated.
Yeah.
So, like, can't he sidestep?
Well, not really, because as he even say in the book, he's still a puppet, but he can see the strings. Like, he still has to do what he's supposed to do, but he knows when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I think they even say it like he sees time as a book, and he can jump to any page in that book.
Yeah.
And, like, he can't change the words on that page.
Yeah.
But he can just see it all at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I get that. But still, if you've read that book once, wouldn't you expect the ending? I don't know.
Yeah, you would.
So that's like my one flaw with it. Like,
yeah, but I think it's just a matter of, like... Yeah, that's like the whole thing of it is like you see it as like, well, if I knew that, I would do this. But with him, it's like, no, I have to do this because that's what has to be done.
Yeah. I also had, like, even in the book where it does that, where Ozymandias, like, clouds his vision by using tachyon particles and stuff. Like, okay, so, like, at one point he does, like, disintegrate him again. But then why couldn't Dr. Manhattan see after that? and he's also fighting Ozymandias, but he grows huge and crashes into his Antarctic thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe he did see that. It's just a matter of like that was like at a point where it was like too late.
Well, yeah, there's certain things where early on when you first meet Dr. Manhattan, they ask him about something and he's like, I can't see there for whatever reason, something's clouding my vision or something.
Yeah.
And that's like way early on in the story and you find out that that's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just like one of the flaws it is to me. Like, you don't have any free will then. Like, you're just this guy going through the motions.
Well, I think that's like the major thing of I think all of Watchmen is that no one has any free will. It's just that because we see things in such tunnel vision, we feel like we do.
But I would argue that Rorschach has free will.
Does he, though?
Yeah, I think so. He does things under his own influence the whole time.
Is it under his own influence, or is it something that's influenced him on an outside basis? Like that's how it's set up. Is like, as humans, we perceive what we do as free will because we don't know what we do, like the effects of what we're doing. But with Dr. Manhattan, he knows, like, if I do this, like, he's like, well, doing this is going to cause this, but I can't stop myself from doing this or what I'm doing because of this. But with us, we see it as free will because it's like, we were always destined to do this. It's just that we see ourselves as choosing to do that.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. But, like, even Dr. Manhattan kills Rorschach at the end because Rorschach is just going rogue.
Yeah, because Rorschach was always meant to die.
Well, I guess. But then, like, then can you argue that Ozymandias doesn't have free will? Because he does all this stuff to set up pretty much the world.
Yeah, because nothing ever ends.
Such a fucking anarchist.
Yeah, it was always meant to be that he did this. But
I
then
hate that fucking frame of mind. If I could just say that right now.
But that's the whole point of the whole story.
I hate things that fucking life is on a track.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the whole story is, like, we take comfort in the fact that we control our own lives, but Dr. Manhattan is the guy that always sits back and is like, no, you don't, because I know what happens in all of time.
But just because you know what happens at all the time and you can see, like, the path, you still have free will up to those choices. It just, he can see the end point of that choice.
Yeah, well, you don't have free will. It's on a track, but he sees all, so he knows, but it's just a matter of, like, you never know what it's going to be because you don't see what's ahead of you.
Right. But
so that's not free will, it's just a thing that you're always meant to do. Even if you feel like you changed your mind, you were still meant to do that.
But if he didn't exist, that wouldn't be the case.
No, it would be the case because
no one's there to tell you the future.
But you're still set on that same track. It's just that he sees it.
I disagree. Agree to disagree. Let's move on.
The existence of Dr. Manhattan is in the plan. That's why things get set up the way they're set up. Because he was always there. So when he's not there, then that's what it is. That's part of the plan.
Great. I'm not going to argue this fucking point anymore.
But no, that's what the whole thing says. There's no free will. That's what I love it.
Is there anything else about this? So, like, the last two episodes are very Dr. Manhattan heavy.
Yeah.
And these episodes I thoroughly enjoyed because almost every loose end, except for Lube Man, is all tied up, and I didn't think that was going to happen at all.
Yeah.
Especially when it was coming like to the last episode, I'm like, there's a few things here that are still just kind of left hanging, and it almost all gets circled around back to.
I was pretty surprised that they did literally like have so many loose ends and they found a way to tie them all up almost.
Yeah, that was like my biggest like applause moment. I'm like, okay. They did that as well as set up more.
Yeah.
I was kind of like disappointed that it was just like the end was a bit of like sequel bait.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I would love for this to be...
It could be sequel bait, but it could also be like a fantastic ending at the same time, too.
Yeah, but this was so popular that they're going to do another one.
Well, I heard that they're planning on doing this like an anthology series where every season is its own story. It just takes place in the same world.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
Like the next one could take place like in another city with these same events like in the background, but it takes place like in another city or like another place.
Sure. Oh, that'd be fun. I was just hoping that as tight as this ended, that it wouldn't have like that weird. It's not even like an Inception ending where you're like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
It's like it just feels like I'm baiting for a sequel.
I didn't really get that because I even read somewhere that like Dame Lindelof like made this with the intent that this would be the only season, and then if they wanted more, he could make more.
Sure,
but
if they wanted more because it fucking did awesome.
Yeah, but you think about
make more.
But that's what I love about this is that like it's such an anomaly that like this definitely could be like something that could have easily flopped.
Yeah,
because it's based off of something that not everyone has read.
Right.
Like it deals with some pretty weird material.
Yep.
And also some pretty controversial material that could people could have easily turned against this, and this could have been the only season.
Yep.
So like if this were to be the only season of this, I still would have loved this.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because it ends in a way where it's like it ends like how Watchmen ends, where it's like this whole thing plays out, and then it gets to a part where like, okay, everything's tied up, the future's intact, I know exactly what's gonna happen from here, and they throw that one small thing out there at the very end where it's like, but you don't know everything. Here's the one thing that you don't really know.
Yeah. Yep.
Like with the book, it was Rorschach's journal that could have easily thrown everything into disarray. And then in this, it was the whole thing was like, who's gonna get Dr. Manhattan's powers? And then it ends with like Angela possibly getting them, to where it's like, I'm gonna step in, and then it cuts away before you know whether or not she definitely has them.
Yeah.
And even like the show does it in a way where like they keep it up in the air, because I guess that Screen Crush thing that I watched, like he does a really cool thing with color where everything that's yellow, it usually means that like something bad's about to happen to the person that's interacting with it.
Yeah.
But then the blue shows like power, like godlike power because of Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
So then when Angela eats that egg, it's out of a yellow carton with blue lettering.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be either way. Like the show leaves it up to you.
Before I saw that Screen Crush thing, because I saw that same one, I noticed like a ton of bright yellow stuff in this.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it was very kind of distracting, because for me they're like, so they're just taking like the title card of Watchmen, because takes that bright yellow color scheme for the title, and just throws it in there, because that wasn't in like the book. The book was in like a weird secondary color scheme where it had like a lot of greens, purples, and oranges.
Yeah.
And those are usually considered like villain colors, but the whole book was set in those.
Yeah.
So even like your superheroes, like in the Minutemen that were out, like they are more like classically colored. Yeah. Like you'll have your first Night Owl that was like but he was almost in like browns. And then you have your Captain Metropolis, which had like an orangey type of color.
Yeah.
And then you jump to the comedian, like, who is in like a yellow but purples.
Yeah.
And so it's weird that it like just kind of as a colorway foreshadows like they're all shitheads. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
they're all kind of bad people.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you look at other color schemes of other characters, like Joker is green and purple.
Yeah.
Like, he's bad. Like, other Lex Luthor is green and purple.
Yeah.
Like, they're all, like, these evil characters, whereas, like, you don't have your yellows, blues, and reds for, like, your Superman, Spider-Man, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that in this, it's like a real life. It's kind of got like a high contrast, drab. Everyone's like a real life superhero, so they're like drab and kind of like black. Mm-hmm. Except for Red Scare, who's in a bright red jumpsuit and a ski mask. But then you have this huge bright pops of yellow color in there. Mm-hmm. And I found like some of it distracting, I guess. I'm like, are they just throwing it in there for like to have the Watchmen yellow stuff, like the cops with the yellow masks?
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess if there's a part of the uniform, and it is like a nice bright pop of color and something against like a black uniform. Mm-hmm. But I just thought it was like an odd.
Well, even their lights are like, they're not red and blue, they're red and yellow.
Oh, are they? I guess I didn't realize that.
Like when they pull over that guy in the first episode, like the lights are red and yellow, not red and blue.
So it's just odd things. And I also liked too that because of everyone still believes like the squid was like a real extraterrestrial attack. I'm on like a weird train of thought right now where I'm trying not to forget a bunch of stuff. So the world lives like scared like that. Yeah. They also don't know that Dr. Manhattan wasn't the cause of like this cancer.
Yeah. So there's no internet or anything. Everything is is still analog.
Yeah,
I love that
really
shit.
like that too.
Yeah, that shit's really cool.
So it's a completely different like world. Like newspapers are still relevant.
Yeah, yep. Everyone has beepers.
Yep. It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
I loved that shit.
And I didn't even realize that like no one has like a cell phone in this.
No, yeah, because they always have to go to some
payphones.
Yeah, payphone and shit.
When somebody had to like say it, and I'm like, oh yeah, nobody did have a cell phone.
Yeah,
I guess that's weird.
Yeah.
But then I didn't even put it together until somebody had to tell me like, oh yeah, they probably wouldn't have this because Dr. Manhattan scared the shit out of everybody for using electronics.
Yeah. And I love so much that like this show mirrors the book in so many ways, but it still makes it different enough where it's still interesting. Mm-hmm. But even like I love that it mirrors it because it's like, man, like people try to make a difference all the time, but shit still stays the same. Like, yeah, I love that. Even like down to where like this show itself even has its own established square, like it did in the book, where like the squids rain down.
Oh yeah,
and it's like it's the same fucking shit.
Yep.
Like the whole book pretty much plays out the same way the book does. It's just in different ways.
Yep, for sure. I don't think any other notes in this.
Yeah, I can't think of too much more else to say. We talked about it for like about an hour.
Dang, we did it.
We did it. We done did it.
But yeah, overall, like, I was skeptical and going in because I was like, a Watchmen show, like they've been trying to do this forever.
Yeah.
Lindelof, even though like I really only have seen like Lost from him.
Yeah.
And like that was a thing where like I'm just gonna throw in stuff and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And then by the end we tried to wrap it up. It's like, oh, I don't know if this really worked.
Yeah.
So much.
I would say if you like this, I think Watchmen's better than this, but I would say check out The Leftovers.
Yeah, I was thinking like that because everyone said that had a pretty good ending.
Yeah. Like it's definitely fucked up, but like you follow it and it's I think I like it better than Lost for sure.
Okay. I'll see if I ever get to it, but by the end of this, I was very pleasantly surprised on how much they fit in, how much they tied back to, which I didn't think they were going to. I thought it was going to be its own separate little monster.
Yeah.
And they stayed true to like the source material, like pretty 100%. They even like retconned some stuff from the book.
Yeah.
Well, not so much retconned as just added to, because in the book they never say who Hooded Justice is.
I know, and I love that they do that in this. Like that was the one critique I had about the book, was that I never felt attached enough to the Minutemen to make myself feel like I understood them, mainly because of Hooded Justice, because Hooded Justice was just kind of like this anomaly where it's like, yeah, he was the first one and then he ran away and no one knows what happened to him.
Yeah, and they have like the theories like they think that's this German strongman or whatever.
Yeah. But in this, like, they set him up where like they actually give him an origin story, and it's an origin story that makes so much sense it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes his costume make sense.
It makes his costume make sense. It makes like what he does make sense.
Yep.
And like I love the whole thing where like it gets down to where he's like, man, I want to do like some real shit, and they're like, no, we want to do shit to get publicity.
Yeah, for
where
sure.
like it makes all of the Minutemen look like shit.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I love all that stuff.
You know what I did find weird though in that episode is that like out of nowhere he just has a relationship with Captain Metropolis.
Yeah.
I know it's like a hint or like rumored at in other points here and there.
Yeah.
But it just seems like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did kind of
come
out of nowhere.
Banged by Captain Metropolis.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this seems abrupt.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was like the one thing I felt like that was weird, not a place.
But I was loving the American hero story shit that they were putting out there.
I almost wanted more of it.
Well, like I even love like the Screen Crush guy brings this up, but it's like his critique on like the Watchmen movie, where all the scenes in it are so overly violent and bloody,
right?
For no reason.
Yep, shot in slow mo.
Shot in slow mo.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, I feel like at the end there, Watchmen really pulled it out, and
yeah, I loved it all the way through. I want more shit like this.
I would like more stuff like that's. I mean, this is already an established IP.
Yeah.
So you have like already a small built-in audience of people that are already going to do it, but like. I would like more stuff that's as thought out as this. Mm-hmm. They thought of every aspect of the show.
Yeah, so fucking much.
Even to like little points where like, okay, we're going to add a layer in this. So like for the Oklahoma thing, for example, like it's set in Oklahoma. So we'll have fun things where we'll have like the Oklahoma play going on, and then the soundtracks here and there.
Yeah.
And like, if you're familiar with the play, some of the characters are going to be named the same thing. So it's like foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
And like, we'll have then aspects set in actual Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then we'll go, and it's like all of that shit just built on layers and all ties back into each other.
Yeah.
And it's just little smart things like that throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
Is what every show needs to do.
Oh, I know. I was watching the first episode. I even said to myself, like, this isn't gonna last, but I love it. Like, I just hope that they're able to. Well, it's HBO, so of course they're gonna put up every episode. But I'm like,
right.
I'm just gonna enjoy this while it lasts. I don't think this will ever catch on. So like hearing that it got so popular and it's like people are talking about it, I was so fucking relieved.
Yep.
Because it's like. There are people out there that want to see good TV.
Yes, there are. Yeah.
So I was ecstatic watching this, and I fucking loved it.
What would you give it?
Man,
for a grade?
A fucking plus.
Yeah,
I love this shit so much. I look forward to this every Sunday. Like,
yeah,
I would be like, Molly, I don't care what the fuck you're doing. You're turning it off or watching Watchmen right now. I don't give a shit what we're doing, and I watched it every Sunday night, and I made sure that I was like, I'm watching it. Cause this is like the first time in a long time I've been so excited to watch like a TV show like when it came out.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this an A. Like, even though I said that I was apprehensive going in, and it eventually all made it better by tying in near the end.
Yeah.
I still feel like there was something still there where I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Even though I really liked the show and thought it was very very smart and
Yeah.
put together very well.
Mm-hmm.
There's still something there where I was like, I can wait to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that was. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just kind of like a heavy subject matter.
Maybe.
Then it was like, I don't feel like being kind of depressed a little bit.
And I can get that. Because like I definitely have way more of a different mindset when I jump into The Mandalorian than I do this. Like with this, like I go into it being like, I can't wait for them to just like expose me to some fucked up shit where I'm like stewing on it the whole rest of like the next day to be like, what do you mean by this? And then like, what is this going to lead to?
Yeah.
Where with The Mandalorian, it's like legit like an adventure where it's like I'm having fun in the moment.
Yeah. 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 That's very true. Because like, I think I even said it like last week, if given the choice of watching that or Watchmen, I'd probably watch Mandalorian first. Because I was like, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then go on to something that I'm like going to stew on.
Yeah.
For better or worse, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd give it a solid A. Great show.
Oh, fantastic.
Great show.
And I'm looking forward to like what other stuff that HBO's putting out. Like they have that thing based on like that Stephen King novel coming out like next year.
I'm Stephen King'd out.
Yeah, but it's not like one of his weird things. It's like a murder mystery thingy. And it's got Bendy Mendy in it.
Oh, okay. Well, back on board. I think that's going to be the show, JT. If people want to hit up and you and TikTok, with you online, where can they do that?
Well, you can whisper "help me" at Bucky Furman on Twitter and Bucky Furman on Instagram and Bucky Furman on Snapchat, and then I'll whisper no.
And I'll gladly talk to you at Short of the Max on Twitter. Also, hit us both up at Review Pod on Twitter. Our Tournament of Random Movies is up for this week.
Yes.
There's still a couple days to vote on that.
Nightcrawler versus Dude, Where's My Car? If there's a God, please vote for Nightcrawler.
Yeah, please. All of our episodes are uploaded onto almost every single podcast platform there is. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, rate and review us there because other people find the... people find the show.
Oh my God.
I killed them all. If you want to write in, you can do so at reviewpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Coming Thursday, we're
going to review Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker for better or worse.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been hearing good things so far.
Not yet. But now it's out at this time to the public.
Yeah.
Maybe things have changed.
Maybe.
Maybe. I would have seen it by now.
I would have seen it by now.
I'm doing some Dr. Manhattan stuff where I'm seeing all points of my life.
Future me is now trying to Dr. Manhattan me being like...
So, we'll see.
We'll see.
Also, next week is Christmas. When do you want to record?
Well, you probably don't want to do it on Christmas Eve, so probably that Thursday?
The day after Christmas?
Yeah. Is that a thing? Would that be a thing? Or do you want to do it later?
The day after Christmas to me is just another day.
Okay.
Well, at least this year it is. It's another day in my life. I still got to work.
Gotcha.
You do it on Thursday, so it would be a Friday release?
Yeah.
Okay. Friday it is.
Friday it is.
And then the next week is going to be the same deal.
Yeah. Well, but New Year's isn't much of a... New Year's Eve is more of a thing than New Year's is.
I guess you're right.
I don't do shit on New Year's. New Year's, I like try and get over the hangover from New Year's Eve.
Just be a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
Same. That's me all the time.
Trying to get over your hangover?
Yep. So that's going to be the show. So we'll see you for the
Star
next
Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
But until then, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
Hey, I'm JD3K.
And we're off.